Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Annie Talks English. I'm so glad you're here today because we're going on a journey into something truly profound, something that gives life purpose, energy, and a quiet, persistent joy. Today, we'll explore the concept of Ikigai. Now, you may have heard the word before, but for me, discovering Ikigai wasn't just about reading a definition. It was a personal journey, a quiet awakening that started with small questions I asked myself in the early mornings while the world outside was still sleeping. Ikigai is often described as a reason for being, or the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. But beyond diagrams and lists, Ikigai is lived. It's experienced in moments where your heart feels light and your actions feel meaningful, even in the smallest ways. For me, the first step towards discovering my Ikigai was simply pausing. Life had been moving fast, as it often does. Deadlines, messages, obligations, routines. And somewhere along the way, I realized I was going through the motions, not truly feeling the sense of purpose or fulfillment I craved. I had skills, I had a job, I had relationships, but there was a subtle hollowness that kept whispering, "Is this it?" I started asking myself quiet questions. What excites me so much that time disappears when I'm doing it? What am I naturally drawn to, even when no one asks me to do it? What makes me feel that I am contributing something that matters? And finally, what could sustain me not just emotionally, but practically in this life? It wasn't easy to sit with these questions. There were mornings when I felt frustrated that answers didn't come immediately. But then, in those small reflective moments, journaling, walking, or just sitting with a cup of tea, tiny sparks began to appear. Little patterns emerged: a joy in writing, a curiosity about helping others learn, a satisfaction in creating something that resonates beyond myself. And that, for me, was the awakening, realizing that Ikigai isn't something you find overnight. It's cultivated through reflection, patience, and intentional living. It's the gentle recognition that life is richest when your heart, skills, values, and the needs of the world converge. Over the next few segments, we'll dive deeper. I'll share the steps I took to explore each dimension of Ikigai, the challenges I faced, the insights that surprised me, and the practices that helped me integrate purpose into my everyday life. This isn't a guide with rigid rules. It's a story, my story, that I hope inspires you to reflect on your own. So, if you've ever felt a subtle emptiness, a curiosity about your path, or simply a desire to live more fully, stay with me. Let's embark on this journey together, uncovering the quiet, persistent joy that Ikigai brings into life. As we continue our journey into Ikigai, let's begin with one of the most fundamental pieces: what you love. This is the dimension of life that gives your heart energy, that fills your days with curiosity and joy, often without expectation of reward. When I first asked myself this question, I realized I had been conditioned to prioritize what I should do: a stable job, practical skills, responsibilities, rather than what genuinely made me feel alive. But Ikigai asks a different question. What stirs your soul? I remember spending a quiet afternoon with my journal, letting myself wander through memories and dreams. I asked, what activities make me lose track of time? What brings a smile so effortless that I barely notice it? And slowly, the answers began to surface. Writing, teaching, and connecting with others. Simple things, but they awakened a subtle thrill inside me. I realized that these were more than hobbies. They were reflections of my core passions. Discovering what you love isn't always easy. Life's responsibilities, expectations from family, work pressure, they often push us away from our true interests. I found myself wrestling with guilt, asking, can I really pursue this? Is it practical? The truth is, Ikigai isn't about abandoning responsibilities. It's about integrating what you love into your life in meaningful ways. Even small, intentional actions, writing a reflection every morning, volunteering for a cause that inspires you, or sharing your knowledge with a friend, bring you closer to living your passion. One practice that helped me immensely was recalling moments of pure joy from my past. I thought about the times I felt completely absorbed, whether it was reading a book, helping someone learn, or simply exploring a new idea. These recollections were not just nostalgic, they were clues, pointing me toward the things I genuinely loved. Another insight was understanding that passions evolve. What you loved as a child may not fully reflect your current ikigai. I used to love drawing and storytelling, but over time, I found joy in crafting lessons and communicating ideas in a way that could touch lives. The essence remained the same: creation, expression, and connection, but the form adapted to who I am now. As I began to align more of my days with what I loved, I noticed subtle but profound shifts. My energy increased. Tasks that once felt like chores became opportunities to explore creativity. Even mundane activities, like organizing my workspace or preparing for a lesson, felt infused with purpose because they supported the things I truly cared about. Here's what I want you to take away. Discovering what you love isn't a one-time revelation. It's a gentle, continuous exploration. Start with curiosity. Observe the small moments that make your heart lift. Experiment, reflect, and let your passions grow in ways that feel authentic to you. There is no need to rush. Even tiny steps, a few minutes each day dedicated to something you love, create a ripple effect that shapes your life. Now that we've explored what you love, let's dive into the second dimension of Ikigai, what you are good at. This is where your natural talents, acquired skills, and experiences converge to create value, not only for yourself, but for the world around you. For me, this part of the journey was both enlightening and humbling. I realized that often we underestimate our own strengths. We compare ourselves to others, focus on what we lack, or dismiss what comes naturally to us. But Ikigai invites us to pause and reflect. What do I excel at? What can I contribute with confidence and joy? I started by listing skills I had overlooked: writing, communication, problem solving, teaching, empathy, listening. Each seemed ordinary on its own, but when I examined how they could serve a greater purpose, I began to see the threads of my unique contribution. There is an understated power in acknowledging your abilities. It builds confidence and opens doors to opportunities you may have ignored. One exercise that helped me immensely was asking for feedback from those who know me well. Often, the people around us can see strengths we are blind to. A friend once told me, "You have a way of making people feel seen and understood. It's rare." Hearing that made me pause. I realized that this was not just a skill, but a gift, one I could cultivate and use intentionally. Another key insight was embracing continuous learning and growth. Ikigai is not static. Your abilities evolve as you challenge yourself. I began experimenting with new ways to leverage my talents, teaching English through stories, sharing motivational reflections, and helping others discover their own strengths. Each effort, no matter how small, reinforced my sense of purpose. It's also important to acknowledge areas where we struggle. Understanding what we are good at does not mean ignoring weaknesses. Instead, it's about focusing on the intersection where talent meets passion. For me, I realized that while I am good at writing and connecting ideas, I am less comfortable with public speaking. Rather than letting that hold me back, I practiced intentionally, slowly turning discomfort into competence, a process that enriched my confidence and resilience. This stage of Ikigai brought another revelation. Your talents are not only for self-fulfillment, they are bridges to others. When we use our abilities to serve, guide, or support, we find deeper meaning. I found joy in creating content that inspired learners, helping others gain confidence in English, and providing insights that could change someone's day. These were tangible ways my skills and passions aligned, showing me a clear path toward purpose. The takeaway here is simple yet profound. Spend time identifying your unique strengths, celebrate them, and look for ways to apply them meaningfully. The combination of what you love and what you are good at is incredibly powerful. It fuels both personal satisfaction and the ability to make a positive impact. So far, we've explored what you love and what you are good at. Now, let's expand our view outward to the world around us to understand what the world needs. This is a crucial dimension of Ikigai because true purpose often emerges at the intersection of personal passion, skill, and contribution. When I first considered this, I realized how easy it is to get caught in our own bubble, focusing on personal ambitions or immediate goals, and forget that life's fulfillment grows when we serve others. I started asking myself, what are the challenges that truly matter? Where can my skills and passions make a difference? One of my early revelations came unexpectedly. I noticed that even small acts of service, like helping someone improve their English, offering encouragement, or listening attentively to a friend, had a ripple effect far beyond what I could see. These were simple contributions, but they carried a profound sense of purpose. It made me realize that what the world needs doesn't have to be monumental. It begins with small, intentional actions that bring real value. Understanding what the world needs also requires empathy and observation. I started paying closer attention to people around me, noticing where help, guidance, or support could make a difference. Sometimes it was as straightforward as creating content that clarified a difficult concept. Other times, it was offering moral support to someone facing challenges. I discovered that aligning my passions and skills with these needs brought an energy and fulfillment unlike any other. This dimension also taught me humility. The world doesn't always respond immediately, and impact may not be visible right away. Yet, contributing to needs greater than ourselves creates a quiet, enduring satisfaction. It reinforced the idea that Ikigai isn't about fame, wealth, or recognition. It's about meaningful contribution, a sense that your actions resonate beyond your own life. I want to encourage you to take small steps, observe, listen, and ask, how can my skills and passions serve those around me? Even small gestures, teaching, supporting, sharing knowledge, or creating beauty count. Each action contributes to a larger whole, and over time, these small contributions compound into something extraordinary. We've journeyed through discovering what you love, what you are good at, and what the world needs. Now, it's time to bring everything together and explore how to live your Ikigai every day. Living your Ikigai is not about a single moment of realization or a sudden life transformation. It's about consistently aligning your daily actions with purpose. When I began integrating these insights into my life, I noticed subtle shifts that gradually transformed my experience. Mornings felt brighter, challenges felt lighter, and even ordinary tasks carried deeper meaning. The first step is mindfulness, being aware of how your choices reflect your Ikigai. For me, it meant consciously choosing activities that resonated with my passions and skills while serving others. Writing reflections, teaching English, sharing motivational stories, or simply helping a friend these weren't just tasks. They became intentional contributions that connected my inner world with the outer one. Another essential aspect is balance. Ikigai is the harmony of love, skill, contribution, and sustainability. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I learned to honor my energy, health, and emotional well-being, recognizing that self-care is not selfish, it is essential for sustaining purpose. Even small rituals, like a quiet morning reflection, a short walk, or journaling gratitude, nourished my capacity to live fully. I also discovered the importance of resilience and patience. Life will not always align perfectly with your passions or skills. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments of doubt. But living Ikigai is about returning to your purpose with calm determination, adapting to challenges without losing sight of what truly matters. Every small effort compounds over time, creating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilled. An empowering part of this journey is seeing how your Ikigai can inspire and uplift others. As I shared insights, stories, and lessons through my podcast, I realized the impact goes beyond my own growth. Encouraging someone to explore their passions, guiding them to recognize their strengths, or simply reminding them of their potential, these moments create a ripple effect. Your Ikigai is not only your compass, it can be a guiding light for others. So, how can you start today? Begin with reflection. Write down what you love, identify your talents, and consider the needs around you. Then, take one small intentional step to align your day with these insights. It could be offering your help, starting a creative project, or simply dedicating time to practice something meaningful. The key is consistency, patience, and self-compassion. Before we close, I want to thank you deeply for joining me on this journey today. Exploring Ikigai is a profound practice, but it becomes infinitely richer when shared with others who are curious, open, and committed to growth. I am grateful that you've taken this time with me, reflecting, listening, and imagining how purpose can shape your life. Remember, living your Ikigai is a journey, not a destination. Embrace the process, celebrate the small victories, and trust that your actions, however small, contribute to a meaningful, joyful life. Thank you for being here with me on Annie Talks English. I hope this conversation inspires you to explore your passions, cultivate your strengths, and align your life with purpose. Until next time, stay curious, be kind to yourself, and live your Ikigai every day. Goodbye and take care.